Inkster City Council meeting is called to order Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. It is 7:38 p.m. Who we got out here? You know what? Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Who was volunteering today? Who wants to say the prayer for us?
I'll say it.
Okay, come on. Come on up to the podium. Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you right now in the name of Jesus and ask that you would just bless this meeting, Lord. We ask that you allow this meeting to be productive. We ask that you will allow all things that are expressed today to be done decently and in order. And we just thank you, Lord, because we know you will have your way. In Jesus' name, thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Nolan,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Chisholm,
Present.
Councilwoman Rutledge is present, Councilman Bishop,
Present.
Councilwoman Scott,
Present.
Councilwoman Howard is absent today, and Councilman Richardson. Woman Richardson.
All right.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. We're gonna add items J and K to the agenda. J is gonna be Robinson. K is gonna be Shabazz.
And a presentation.
And we're gonna add a presentation, after State Representative presents, we're gonna have, Shawana Guskowski present regarding Annapolis Point. So that's gonna be item B under presentations. All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second, discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. It passes. All right. Presentation, State Representative Dylan Wygala. Good evening.
Hi everyone. Almost got it there for the name. It's sorry, the clerks in Lansing still have a hard time. It's so I'm Dylan Wygala for people who haven't had a chance to meet me yet. Going into year 2 now of being the state representative for District 26, which is Garden City, Inkster, Southeast Westland, Northeast Romulus. Wanted to come by today and give an update. So I was a former educator, and I have seen a lot of reps come to meetings and just get up here and talk. And I like visuals. I think they are helpful when going over things and so forth. So I have one. There's a little outline of our district. And I'll hopefully be able to come by at least quarterly. Couple updates just from last year. Just really tried to be intentional about being in the community. Went to over 75 community events. Still have a 100% attendance record in Lansing. We had 10 coffee hours across the district and learned a lot on how we want to move forward. So I'll talk about that in just a bit. Been to 15 council meetings throughout the district. You know, we have 4 cities. And we had 8 community advisory council meetings. And I'll talk about what that is more. And what I've learned more than anything is people across our district, not everyone has time to come to city council, come to the coffee hours, et cetera. So we even decided as a team to go door to door, and we reached over 4,000 doors talking to residents across the district this year. The Community Advisory Council is something I made at the very beginning of being elected to office. What it is it's a working group of community organizers. We have elected officials, religious leaders, just really engaged citizens. And if you're interested out there or in this room, please come chat with me. And I'll shout out real quick, Councilmember Chisholm, who's in the picture up here with us, has been to a couple meetings, and Councilmember Scott actually has been as well. And I extend this invite to all of council. Hopefully you've gotten an email from us. I know we have some updated emails, so if you haven't, please find a way to text me, call me. I think most of you hopefully have my number at this point, so we can get you on that list. Our first meeting will be this Saturday. But we did a lot of really cool things with this. We decided to come together when there were all those videos that came out about the Westland police chief a couple of months ago in the spring, we as a council came up with a letter that my office actually put out. And the very next day, the chief ended up resigning. So I think there's power when we organize. And I think this group has really helped guide me in conversations in Lansing, but throughout the district. This shouldn't be old news. This should be old news at this point, but we ended up securing the money to cancel the remaining Inkster Public Schools debt in Lansing. This is something that, if you know me, I've been talking about in every room in the district and in Lansing. Just really proud of all of the people who helped work to get this done, because it's not just one person; it's a team. It's people in the community who stood up for it. It's the Black Caucus in Lansing really fought for this, and our Senator Polhanke as well. Just really happy to close that part of that chapter and move forward and talk about, well, what can we do together. So with coffee hours, what we did last year is I rotated through each city, and we would post it on social media in advance, and we would text residents. I found that to be not the most effective way to do things. So what we're going to do this year is it's going to be much more coffee hours on my end, but we're going to have a recurring coffee hour in Garden City at the Radcliffe Center every second Thursday of the month from 5:30 to 6:30, and the dates are are posted here. And then we are going to also still have the rotating coffee hours, because I found it really important to make sure that we were going directly to people in all of the different cities. So every other month we will rotate through the cities. And this Saturday at the Inkster Library at 11 a.m., you can come out and have a conversation with me if you would like to. The reason I wanted a recurring one is because I want there to be predictability where people know where I'm going to be if they need to talk to me urgently. So every other month we're doing 2 coffee hours, because I also want to go to the cities. A couple other things I didn't put in the slide, but I just want to quickly update on is we are down 2 members in the Michigan House right now. We had a 56-54 split before November, and then 2 of our Democratic members won mayoral seats. So we're deadlocked. For example, tomorrow I'm going up to vote on a memorial highway. I say this because I think it's going to be very difficult to move legislation this year until we come back to full strength with 56 Dems and 54 Republicans in Lansing. So I just want to put that out there, because you're not going to see, last year we passed more public acts than any year since 2011. I don't suspect that we will hit that number this year because we are deadlocked in the House. I also want to invite everybody in this room and the council this Thursday at the State Wayne Theater in Wayne, Michigan at 35310. I'm working with Magic to put on a screening of To the End, which is a film that talks about the importance of fighting climate change and the need for a Green New Deal. And I'll be there with Mikkel Goodman and Layla Taha and myself. We're going to screen the movie, and then we're going to have a discussion as well afterwards. And the last thing I have here is there are 2 bills that I have that I'm really focusing on this year. We've introduced quite a bit of bills, but there's 2 I really want to point out that I'm hoping to get hearings with and get some movement on this year. The first one is a bill that would ban police from using deception tactics when working with minors. So deception tactics, AKA trying to deceive them or lie to them. You can think of some famous cases, the Central Park 5. Right now, that's not illegal in Michigan. We are trying to make evidence obtained in that way inadmissible in court, so that we can make sure that our kids are protected when being interrogated by the police. I believe we're going to have support on that. This bill passed unanimously in Utah. It passed in Illinois and in Oregon. We're working with the ACLU of Michigan. We're working with the Innocence Project and some other groups as well. And then the other one, hopefully you all had power this weekend, is a bill that would ban DTE and utility companies from donating campaign contributions through what's called dark money donations or secret money. I am one of 7% of people in Lansing who doesn't take contributions from DTE. That's contributions you can see. Then there's these contributions they donate through political nonprofits. My office, we wrote an opinion editorial in the Free Press. If you just search Dylan Wigella DTE, you'll be able to read it. And we've detailed this issue that's happening where DTE is funneling money through political nonprofits to influence elections and then therefore influence the Michigan Public Service Commission. There's no secret. I think there's a reason. We have some of the highest rates in the country and some of the worst service. And my view is that I think our politicians are more interested in protecting DTE than holding them accountable. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I want to just be honest with y'all. Now, lastly, if you didn't know, you can reach out to our office at any time. We can escalate issues that you might be having with state level programs. So on a day-to-day basis, we have people across the district who are having problems with unemployment and they're not getting a response from the agency. We can escalate that and we can get a response faster. The same with Medicaid. And if we can't answer your question, we can hopefully refer you and or give you some kind of direction. Our phone number is 517-373-3818. And our email is just my first and last name at house.mi.gov. Any questions for me today?
Quick question. I had a couple residents ask me when they received their tax bill, they still had what they thought was Inkster Public School debt on it. When will that, when will that be paid off so we don't have to continue to pay?
Good question. I will be able to give you a better answer in a couple days, but my suspicion is I don't believe that the bill got immediate effect in the Senate, but I'll have to go back and look. So what immediate effect is, just for people listening, is if in the House we don't have to worry about it, we can just gavel through. But in the Senate, you need to have 2/3 of the chamber support a bill. So we don't have 2/3 of the chamber as Dems. So on budget bills like this, it's not uncommon for the opposing party to vote no. So if a bill does not get immediate effect, it takes 90 days from the passage of the bill for it to go into effect. And I don't believe we've hit 90 days yet. So it might be after that 90th day, but I'll double check on that and I'll get back with you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yep, sure.
a question for Rep. Wigella. As far as House Bill 4597 of 2019, excuse me, which relates to adult foster care homes being regulated by local municipalities, any update on that?
We have pulled the bill. And we are waiting. We're getting ready to send it to stakeholders for feedback. But we have requested the bill, is my understanding. I know that's something that we've been talking about. So maybe me and you can get together offline and talk about what groups maybe should we should send that to, just to be sure. I have a couple in mind, but I think it's an interesting prospect. I just want to make sure there's not some unintended consequence that maybe we haven't went through yet. But
And just for the general public to remind you all, this conversation that came up in the far past now about this, that bill was introduced in the House and then it never left committee. And so a lot of times what happens in Inkster is we have so much vacant property. We have persons who come in and purchase homes. They turn them into adult foster care homes. They don't have to come through the city to get them licensed. But then what happens is we see the persons who are to be occupying the spaces walking the streets in this type of weather, not being cared for accordingly. And then our police department or fire department are the ones that have to return them home and care for them. And there's nothing really there for us to really come down on them in the capacity of which we should to hold them accountable. The surrounding communities, when myself and former Councilwoman Watley reached out to Garden City and Canton, Taylor, so on and so forth, one, you wouldn't even notice that it is an adult foster care home in their community because there's so few of them, and the persons who own them actually have the respect of keeping them up to par and caring for the patients as they should. Again, we have over
42 or 60?
60 something, I believe. And the surrounding communities had like 5, 11, and so on and so forth. So there's a huge discrepancy and people are taking advantage of our community. So when I was working for Representative Jones at the time and found out that this bill was there, we started looking into it, but I couldn't get an answer back. Former council member George Williams kept asking about this too. I provided this information. We were landlocked. So when Rep. Wigella was elected, we started the talks about looking into this. Again, it was just introduced, went to committee, and then it just kind of stayed there. So it is a process, but hopefully it's something that his office and whomever else in Lansing can get going for us so we could continue with positive regulations for our community. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. I want to thank you for your assistance in getting the school debt paid off. I know there's, like you said, it took everybody, it took both our representatives, the community, a lot of folks sitting up here were involved. It took everybody to get that done, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'll just lastly, for any members of council I haven't had a chance to sit down with yet, I would really love to. I'm learning. You know, I was an educator for 7.5 years. I was a union organizer. This is the toughest job I've ever had. You have to balance so much, and it's something I take a lot of pride in. So I will take the criticism if you have any, but also like I want to grow and move together and fight for our city here and our district. So thank you all, and I appreciate the work that you're doing. And also, congrats to all of you. I'm so excited for the direction that all of you are going to take the city. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a second presentation. Shawana, come on up.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
council members, and the citizens of the city of Inkster. I am coming before you on behalf of Pastor Hearn. He's actually not feeling well today, so I'll be representing Western Wayne Urban Community Development to bring you an update on Annapolis Point. So the last time we met, we talked about tax abatement during the development period. And we also talked about applying for an NEZ, Neighborhood Enterprise Zone, to have that particular area classified in order to utilize the tax abatement incentives to encourage the development. And just as a quick recap, the illustration that we presented before showed the disparity between the tax rates in Inkster compared to surrounding cities and how that'll impact the new construction development. And the illustration was a $250,000 home in Inkster compared to Westland showed a difference of about $400 a month cost because the millage rate variance between the two cities. So our request was to have the area classified as a neighborhood enterprise zone, which would allow the 50% reduction in taxes for the first 15 years, which will allow the properties to be competitive with the surrounding cities. So a few questions came out of that meeting, some that you proposed, Lindsay, and Felicia as well. So I wanted to address those, give you some response. So it's classified as an NEZ for new facilities. And the reason I emphasize that is because there's 3 different types of neighborhood enterprise zone classifications. The one we're applying for is for new facilities. After the 15-year period, the city of Inkster can also request a 3-year extension, provided the homeowners, and it's primarily to support owner-occupied residents. And with that being said, the owner would have to apply for the affidavit. They would have to agree to a minimum of $500 in property improvements for those additional 3 years. And the city would also have to work with them to submit the request for the extension. So it is a collaborative effort. You know, it's just residents of the city working with the city officials as well. After that time period, you can apply for, if we find that we're in a situation where we still need to provide some type of tax relief for the residents, then you can apply for what's called a neighborhood enterprise zone homestead certification. That certification can be for an additional 15 years, and you have the flexibility to regulate what type of discounts you want to offer up to 50%. I was also tasked with finding a community that kind of illustrates this process and how it has transpired over the 15+ year period. And it was interesting to find that the city of Detroit issued several NEZs back in 2006, 2007, and I suspect it's related to the real estate crisis, back during that time. But what they did is there's 52 areas that were classified as an NEZ. So with that, several of them that you're familiar with, probably in all of the new development that's gone on in the city of Detroit. We have Rosedale Park, Indian Village, Midtown, just to name a few that benefited from the NEZ certification. And so when it came up in 2021 that certification was due to expire, they too filed for a 3-year extension. And then following that, they proposed and worked with the residents to classify the area as a neighborhood enterprise zone homestead to continue out some of those benefits. And again, it's primarily for homeowners. It's not for investors to come in to get the tax break, but to encourage homeownership. Is there any questions about those questions related to the NEZ?
I may have missed it because I went to the restroom. I'm sorry, Shawana, but I just wanted to know, does the city have any type of liability in terms of creating that specific zone?
Do you have any liability?
Do we need to create the zone, basically?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just, it's already zoned as a PUD.
Okay.
You just have to declare it as an NEZ. And the way you do that is I'll work with the Economic Development Director and you'll sign a resolution. That application package will be put together and then submitted to the State Tax Commission. From what I've read and I understand, we meet the requirements. The city of Inkster is a approved governing unit. And so as long as the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, then they will actually encourage and approve. They have the final approval for it to be an NEZ.
And to be clear, you guys are applying for it regarding like the building of the property, right? So like how long are you guys thinking that's gonna take for that? Do you have an idea?
The certificates don't actually get issued until we issue the C of O for each property. So each property, the clock doesn't start ticking until the resident purchases the home, the C of O is issued, and then it continues from there.
Got it, okay.
Yeah. We're just being proactive and getting the conversation started now. And again, it's really a cooperative effort. It's between the city putting somewhere on their radar that in year 13, we need to look at this so that our residents aren't impacted. If we do just, somehow slip it between the cracks, you can apply for it up to a year after it's been changed and the residents can be reimbursed at that point in time. Okay.
Any other questions? And then you're gonna ask for some things to be placed on the next council meeting's agenda, because we've already approved this agenda.
Yeah, I just wanted to follow back and answer those questions that you had about the NEZ. The other item that I wanted to update you on is the quiet title process. Just to recap that as well, when we did a title search on a sample of the parcels, we found that there were a number of items that were still clouding the title. There were claims of lien for previous suppliers because there had been a transfer in ownership by force, meaning by foreclosure and things like that. In order to clear the title and be able to issue a warranty deed to a homeowner, we had to go through a pretty extensive legal process to quiet title. Where we are with that is we've issued all of the summons to the defendants, and they were issued by the court right before Christmas. Once a defendant is notified, and there's 33 that ended up coming out of that complaint, once they're notified, they have 21 days to respond to that court order to say if they have any interest in the land or any parcels that they were on title for. After that time, if they don't respond, then the judge then we request a default judgment from the judge. And if they'll review all the documentation and submit what's called, they'll submit a document that can then be registered at the Register of Deeds so that we know going forward, everything previous has been cleared and wiped away, which is essential in order to sell the house to a homeowner. So right now, we're asking for a 90-day extension. We are waiting through the 21-day process. Out of the 33 defendants, 15 have responded, meaning we've received the registered mail that it's been delivered. There's 3 individuals that had to be personally served. We're waiting for the proof of service to come back for those. There's actually 5 people that have contacted our legal team in regards to this, and but we don't have anybody who has objected as of yet, and that's what we're hoping for, that nobody objects, that they understand that there's, hopefully there's no interest still in the land after such a significant period of time, and then at that point we'll be cleared to do the land purchase and begin the development process.
Any questions? Good. All right, well, thank you, we appreciate you. And we'll put the other items on the next agenda for February 5th. All right, before we go forward in the meeting, I want to announce that we've lost a couple of folks from our community. Arthur Hudgens passed away, as well as Dolores Clemens. Remember, Ms. Clemens, she worked in the 80s at the PYCC program at Parkwood Elementary. So she mentored and took care of many young folks in the community, along with Ms. Hines, wife of Detective Hines from Inkster Police Department. And Arthur Hudgens religiously came to council meetings for years and years and years. And although he moved to Taylor, he was from Inkster and proud to be from Inkster and participated in a lot of our community activities. So we want to have a moment of silence for both of these individuals. Okay, thank you. Now, next on the agenda, we have public hearings. Do we have a motion to open up public hearing?
So moved.
Been properly moved to second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, the public hearing is now ocean. I wish I was at an ocean somewhere, warm. Public hearing is now open. It's regarding the City of Inkster proposed towing ordinance. It is on the website, and we all have it in our packets up here at council. So anybody would like to comment on the towing ordinance, please come to the microphone, one at a time, unless you're together.
State their name for the
I was
record.
first.
Okay. Please state
Please,
your name for the
please.
record.
Good afternoon, or good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Tom Stidham. I'm an attorney in Detroit. And I've been asked to come here tonight because I have been contacted by several companies that are interested in bidding on this new towing process and prospective RFP that's anticipated to be issued. But there's a couple things that we just wanted to highlight, or I think ought to be highlighted with respect to the ordinance. And I'm not being overly critical of the ordinance, Council, but the proposed ordinance does have a few issues. The first of which is it's overly restrictive with respect to requiring all businesses or towing operators to be located in the city of Inkster. While that is a lofty and worthy goal, the problem is in older cities where there is a scarcity of real estate that's available for commercial purposes, like operating a towing service storage yard. Other communities have, looking at best practices, have gone ahead and extended the area in which a towing company can be located. So, and that's what we're requesting here. We're asking that this body amend this draft to include a 3 to 5 mile radius from the city borders. That way, what it's going to do is it's going to encourage more competitive bidding. It's going to encourage more responsive providers, towing service providers. Right now, my understanding is the city has 2. And I think if that was the boundary portion was amended, you would definitely invite a lot more people that would be competitive with respect to bidding for this towing proposal. Secondly, there's a few conflicts in the ordinance itself. I'll highlight just a couple of them. Section 3A14 conflicts with established state law, specifically MCL 257, 252A, subparagraph 19. And that must be corrected. Also with respect to section 3, A17, it is with respect to the number of vehicles at the storage yard must have, that conflicts internally with another section purporting to establish two separate requirements. And lastly, I would just note that most ordinances require a towing service provider for a municipality to respond within a certain amount of time. This just says immediate. And the reason that's important is it may assist the police department later on in determining various benchmarking or metrics that may be set or established with respect to whether or not a towing provider is adequately performing. And here that's important because the city is, in this ordinance, is setting the rates. So if the rates are set, there's no bidding about the rates. You're not gonna get a bidding war as to who is the lowest bid. Instead, what the city ought to be looking at, what the department I'm sure is concerned about most, is who is the most responsive, who has the suitable equipment, storage yard, the ability to respond, the employees, and the history. A history of providing similar jobs or similar projects in like communities. So for all those reasons, we'd ask that this body take those items into consideration, and because we think it's in the best interest of the city and the police department to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Please come up to the podium and state your name for the record, please.
Pass out these, please. And I reflect the record.
What are they? I mean, that doesn't tell me anything. What are they?
Picture,
Pictures of what?
sir, I'd just like to approach. Put it on the record. That I reflect the record that I submitted those. Good afternoon, Hassan Ayun, National Public Activist. I sent you guys this letter with email. Am I correct? You guys received it last time. You took it out for bid. You took it out for bid. You wanted to give it to the bishop. You gotta ask the council here. Is there a conflict that anybody is related to Mr. Bishop? Please come forward. Put it on the record, please. Let the record reflect. Does anybody have a conflict?
This is not a Q&A. This is a.
No, it's not a Q&A. They have to come and say, well,
Sir, whoa. When I'm talking, you stop talking. This is not a Q&A.
Not-
This is a public comment. You're
understand,
welcome
I'm
to say
commenting.
whatever you like.
I'm sorry.
But you cannot ask questions.
Okay, I cannot ask questions.
If people want to answer
They
questions,
can
they can.
answer. I didn't say nothing. If the person wants to answer, he can answer. I said, let the record reflect.
just make
If
your
the
comment
person-
so we can move forward.
Okay, if the person wants to answer, they can answer. So, then nobody wants to answer, we'll move to the next thing. Over here, it says in,
One second, sir. I will put it on the record that I do have a conflict of interest. Bishop's is related to me. But in regards to the towing ordinance or anything having to do with Bishop Auto Reckoning, I will be recusing myself. So that conflict will no longer exist. Thank you.
thank you, sir. You know, for years, Inkster has gave Bishop the contract. Now, let's be fair. There's people that 5 mile radius, it's understandable. We can't just say, oh, we just want the Inkster people to get the bid. Basically, you're trying to close it from every section for any party to come and put a bid out. Why? Is it just because we want Inkster? What about if I was in Garden City and you wanted to come bid for something? And I tell you, oh, it's only in Garden City. You can't come bid over here. The bid's open for everybody. You guys, it has state tax and Wayne County tax. So, and federal tax. You can't just tell somebody you cannot bid on this. This contract is for everybody, not only for Inkster. I'm just asking to amend it within a 5-mile radius, whoever's closest to one, they wanna come and bid, let them bid. Because then it's gonna go to litigation that you guys only want two companies that were on it, and you took it off last time, and you said that you want these items taken off because I sent this paper. Let the record reflect, I sent the email, you guys received this, and you took it out. And then now you wanna put an ordinance. Understandable, put an ordinance. I'm happy you guys put an ordinance. But put at least within a 5-mile radius, like Dearborn Heights, Westland, Garden City, they all have 5-mile radius. Let it be like fair. The best company out there, let them win. Why are we gonna sit here, go back and forth, and then come to this meeting and, you know, I really don't understand why the ordinance now, right after I sent it, and you took it off and you put it back in. It shows me that you guys are trying to do whatever it takes to get those two companies to bid. It's not fair. This is the bidding process. Like the gentleman said, you guys sat there and you put it out, and it's out in the blue that there's two companies only in Inkster, and you guys put a schedule. What are we bidding on? Why are we putting the ordinance? What's the bid for? You got the two companies in Inkster. Why the bidding? Who's gonna compete against them? Let's be honest with each other. Nobody is going to compete against them. You're putting this just to close the door on everybody, and it's illegal. It's very illegal. You cannot sit here and just say, we got two companies, and these are the two companies we have, and they're gonna, every 2 years, you wanna put it out for bid? I got it right here. It says, every 2 years, you're gonna, why would you put it out for bid every 2 years when it's not even open to the public? Doesn't make sense. For years and years, the garbage contract, before the old mayor, I came here, it's in the email. I asked them, how come you don't put it out for bid? They put the garbage thing out for bid. I go everywhere. This is not I just don't come to Inkster. I've been to Westland, I've been to Redford, I've been to all over Michigan. I go to school boards. When I see something like this, it's not making sense. All I'm asking, please, consider to open it within a 5-mile radius for people to come put their bid. Whatever company is more qualified to get the bid. It's simple, nothing wrong with it. That's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments from the public? Nobody else? All right, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Been properly moved in second, discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. It passes. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Been properly moved in second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It passes. Okay, boards and commissions. We have any nominations for boards and commissions? Okay, all right, we'll move on. There's no previous business, no ordinances. Oh, actually, take that back. Ordinance, a first reading of the City of Inkster towing ordinance. That's what we were just discussing in the public hearing, so this is the first reading. Next meeting will be the second reading. New business.
Consider authorizing the administration to sell a 2002 E350 passenger van for $1,000 to a city employee.
Do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second. Been properly moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Passes. Item B.
Consider adopting a resolution to appoint Mayor Byron Nolan to the Central Wayne Sanitation Authority as a delegate representative of the City of Inkster and the Department of Public Service Director Jerome Bivens as his alternate.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It passes. Item C.
This is the one we're taking.
Yeah, we read it.
Okay, consideration and approval for the purchase of laptops for city council members.
I make a motion that we table the subject matter until the next council meeting for the IT department to be present to do a presentation.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes. Item D.
Consideration and approval to purchase one structure and one vacant parcel. The parcel is located on the east side of John Daly Street between Trowbridge and Dunning, and the parcel ID is duly noted.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It passes. Item E.
Consideration and approval of an offer to purchase one vacant parcel located on the east side of Spruce Street, Chestnut Ave and Beach Street, which is legally described as duly noted. And one vacant parcel located on the east side of Hickory between Carlisle and Andover, which is duly noted in the amount of $2,500 to Jaquaya O'Neill.
Do we have a motion or counter offer?
I'd like to make a motion to counter offer. You said this parcel is usually sold for $3,000. It's two parcels for $1,500 apiece. I'd like to counter offer at that.
Okay. We have a motion to counter offer at $3,000 for the two parcels.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. It passes. Item F.
Consider approval of an offer to purchase one vacant parcel located on the west side of John Daly Street between Hopkins and Lehigh, which is duly noted and described, to Monica Cole for $3,000.
We have a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes. Item G.
Consider approval to purchase three vacant parcels. The parcel is located on the south side of Penn Street between Meadowdale Street and Bayhand Street, as duly noted, for $4,500. So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passes. Item H.
Consider approving a special land use for proposed smoking lounge in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District at 3810 Inkster Road.
Do we have a motion?
Oh, we have to vote on this.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we consider approving a special land use for a proposed smoking lounge in the B2 Thoroughfare Mixed Use District at 3810 Inkster Road.
Do we have a second? For discussion purposes, do we have a second?
Support for the discussion.
Okay. Discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Excuse me, sorry, Mr. Mayor. I was saying, just because this is a special land use, we have to, you're right. We have to vote this up or down and use a legal reason as to why we voted it down or it gets approved. So that's why I made the motion, because regardless of how this body decides, we have to put something on the record.
And everybody remembers the factors you have to consider with special land use, but, so you just have to, whatever your position is, you just state it on the record. If it's a if it's a no. Any discussion? Any questions? The applicant is here.
The applicant is here.
Yes, I believe so. Right, yeah, I see him right in the front row.
I just had some questions on the vision of it, man.
Can you please come up to the microphone, Mrs. Hardy?
Hello,
Hello, how are
my
you?
name is Yvette Hardy. This is my husband, Jesse Hardy. We came up with the cigar lounge, not a thought of our own, but the community. Individuals would come, especially the men, would come into my husband's hat shop. Buy a hat and say, "Oh, make me want to smoke a cigar. Can't smoke it in here because we got hats." So in that conversation, with the customers, I notice, because I come from the area of social work, so I can kind of feel people out. So in those conversations and those cry outs from the community, it told me that especially men, women like smoking cigars too, but men want somewhere where they can go and relax and talk about things that would help them get through the rest of their day. Whether it is thinking about starting their own business, about maybe some issues, personal issues they may be having on the job, at home, or what have you. So that was not a idea that me and my husband came up with. It was the community. And just today, on my way to the meeting, I told my husband, I'm getting there early so I can sit in front. And a little young man walked in, 12 years old. He asked my husband, can I just sit down? Cold as it is outside. You can be out there for 2 minutes and you're gonna freeze. This young man walked from Inkster housing, right there in Annapolis, all the way passing churches and homes to come to my husband's hat shop. And he wanted to come because he felt it was a safe place. And I saw, when I was walking out, telling my husband, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I saw it in his body language. And I brought him to the back and I talked to him. And he had some personal issues going on at home. But I knew I needed to get here, but I resolved it quickly as best I could. I said, looky here, this is what we're gonna do. And you're gonna avoid that person. But I'm just sharing with you that you thinking just smoke. No, it's deeper than that. And that's why we're there. We're there to help wrap our arms around the community because there's a lot of people that is in need of services that they're not knocking on the church door because the church, St. Mark's, that young man had to pass that church to get to my husband's hat shop. Why didn't he stop there? Why didn't he knock on that door? He came and he felt at peace. He felt safe. And that's the whole thing. It may be a smoke shop, it may be a cigar lounge, but it's deeper than just a cigar lounge. It's something else in there that we're gonna have for them to help them move on as men, as women. So the whole structure of it, 18 people max. We're not serving alcohol. We're not serving food. We're strictly there to make it a safe place for the community to come and feel safe to share their thoughts and their feelings and to be comfortable. That's the whole point. It's nothing else. And as I stated before, if anybody in this room know of somebody who became rich operating a cigar lounge, I will gladly give you my phone number so you could tell me. Because it's not about us open up a cigar lounge to become rich. This is something that the community asks for. And me and my husband, we're here to serve. We're not here to do anything else but to serve the city of Inkster the best way we know in a positive light. Not the negativity, but the positive. That's it.
All right, thank you. You have anything, Mr. Hardy?
No, but yeah. We've been here, over there about a year now, year and a half. And if you've been around, you can see the difference that it done made already. People's not sitting over there all day long. They're not sitting up in the parking lot. You know what I'm saying? And they come, like she said, a lot of them come in my shop. I didn't know we had 63 homes. That's crazy. But a lot of them come in my shop, sit down and talk. You know what I'm saying? I got kids. I got about 20 kids. I don't even know their name from the neighborhood. They stop in. I give them candy, stuff like that. So my whole thing is helping the community. I've been Inkster all my life. You know what I'm saying? I hate to see that a abandoned buildings and all that kind of stuff. So I just want just help my community. That's all.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Glad I asked.
Do you wanna,
I just wanna see the vision.
can I ask a question real quick as well regarding that? So you guys did talk a lot about like other things, so if you guys don't get approved, would you be willing to turn that property into something else, like that would help support the youth a little bit more? Cause I know with like a cigar lounge, like, we spoke a lot about children, but like, you know what I mean, like, we can't really, like 18, I don't know, I don't smoke like that, but the 18 and up is for the age, so if you don't get approved, would you be willing to turn that into something else?
Absolutely. I'm interested in that. Probably about 20 years ago, I started a mentoring program through my church. I'm from Detroit, my husband from Inkster. So I started a mentoring program. My pastor, he wanted the men to start mentoring the young men. And he named it Emmett Till. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, what about the young ladies? And the Lord put it in my spirit to start a mentoring program called the Rosa Parks. So I went to Rosa Parks before she passed away. Her niece was overseeing her and had to get her approval. I got her approval to start a Rosa Parks mentoring program. So I mentored the young ladies in my church, and I could say out of the 10, 9 of them, 2 of them are doctors, the rest of them have master's degrees. So I don't have a problem. My husband, he was a part of the Emmett Till drill team. He hasn't forgotten it. So we know how to pull it together and make it happen. It's not about us. So I need you all to get your eyes off of Mr. Hardy and Miss Hardy, and it's about the community. Another thing, before I let you go, behind the hat shop, I run a behavior health, where I service the disabled, the senior, the veterans, and the brain injury. So I service a lot of them AFC homes. Not all of them in Detroit, not all of them in Inkster, but I'm getting them all the way from Detroit, bringing them all the way out here. And when we close, they blowing up my phone. We're not open to providers. So it's a great need. And it's unfortunate that what you witness, because we witness the disabled walking the streets. It's 2 degrees outside. They out here with no hats, and I'm grabbing them off the street. Put some socks on. Here, put a hat on. That's what we do. That's what we do. So we're not trying to get rich. We just want to help the community. We want to wrap our arms around them and show them that somebody care. That's all I have to say.
Councilman Rich?
Yes. My issue, and I appreciate you wanting to open a business, and I'm glad you mentioned the word church, because we're getting complaint that you're too close to the church. Also, we were told that you're not serving alcohol, but you're allowing alcohol to come in.
We're not open yet, so we wouldn't. The point that the lady said about we're gonna allow, no. We're not allowing anyone to bring alcohol in. We're not allowing them to bring marijuana in, because it is, like the mayor said, it's going to be regulated by the state of Michigan. So we're not allowing that. Now, she speak about our closed-in, fenced-in area. Okay, but the parking lot adjacent to the liquor store, what do? They buy the liquor and they get in their car and they open it up and they drink it. So who's controlling that? The liquor store owner can't control somebody. She's not gonna stop them from buying the alcohol. But what they do with it once they leave the store is totally on them. So I understand what she's saying, but that's not the case. That is not the case. I service the senior, the disabled, and the veterans, and I have to make sure that that's why we fenced in that sitting area in the back, so that they would not be exposed to maybe what's going on in the parking lot. And we have been very successful in doing that, because I set some ground rules before we even got over there. Initially, I started, can't even go over there. Now they can go over there with staff escort. So I got control. And I know how to keep control, because we've been doing this. I've been doing what I'm doing, been doing that for 7 years. So I know about control and how to navigate and make sure things is not out of control. It will strictly be a cigar lounge. No marijuana, no alcohol will be sold, no food. Is on the website. You cannot serve food in the same area where they're smoking cigars. It's right there. So there's no way. The house is so small, there's no way you can sell food in that same area anyway. It's too small.
Well, if I may, one of the land use for us to approve it, it talks about harmony with the master plan, and I'm not sure if the master plan has been updated and if that's in harmony. Harmony with existing character, improvement to the community. The character, you're surrounded by, well, you're close to a church. You also have homes that's in that area. And I did see in here that there is a list of requirements, I guess, that you would have to do. Smoke, fume, glare, noise, odor, pollution is one of the things. So I don't have a problem with the cigar lounge. I have a problem with where it's located. That's for me. And I know you're not trying to get rich. We can't get rich in Inkster. But I would like to, if you're going to do it, I would prefer if you had it in another location.
Okay, we were looking at another location prior to that location, but because of the rules and regulations, the biggest one was the money. City of Inkster said you had to have $450,000 in the account to do the renovations because that's what the building required. The building was leaning, and you had to get it jacked up. That's before you even start doing the build out. And at that time, me and my husband only been at that location where we're at now for like 9 months. I said, no, we're not going to go down that path. But we're still hearing the voices of the community saying, this is what we need. We need something in Inkster where we can relax and take it easy. So, and we didn't just hear from my husband's customers. My husband went to the city, asked to have bike night, asked to have tailgate. So we also heard it from those individuals as well. And so that's the whole point. We tried over there on Michigan Avenue. We wanted to be it, but we had to respectfully decline because we didn't have $450,000. Not when we just spent that kind of money getting the building where we at together. We weren't really willing to go down that path, not that soon. So when we heard of the home next door being available, and we know in Highland Park, they have a same setup similar to what we're looking to do here. In Highland Park, they have a home in the community right in the midst of residential, all residential. They have a cigar lounge. So that's...
I understand what you're saying. We have an abundance of marijuana here. We're getting complaints about the air, the quality of air, etc. So, and one of the other things is about supporting health, safety, welfare, and morale. I'm not against, I'm not a smoker, but I know people that smoke. But my concern is still with it being so close to the residential area and with it being close to the church. That's where I have an issue.
Okay, so
And for me, you know, when you're talking about the quality of air, that's just another thing that we're gonna have to worry about because we already overabundance with what we have in this city and people are complaining about the quality of air here. So that's just my concern.
you are absolutely correct. I'm not a smoker as well. I'm a Christian, and St. Mark's is actually a church that the church that we attend, we actually fellowship together. But so much for that. I'm not a smoker. I don't never smoked a cigarette or anything. To keep the air clean, we have a system that I currently use in my husband's head shop and in the behavior health, where it cleans the air. It's a scrubber. It takes the bad air, circumvent, clean, sanitize, and omit, not in the, back into the area. And for that, I know it works because we used it. This, my HVAC guy, he installed it June of last year. Didn't use central air. That gave us air. It's providing heat now. And I know it works because the COVID-19 is on the rise. I have not had to close down because of my staff and myself and the participants getting ill. No, although we still do the mask and the hand sanitizer, but we have not had an outbreak. Those mini splits is what they call them. They work. I have 2 on my side, 1 on my husband's side. So I know it worked. And I have, before we presented to you all, I already went over with him and he explained, this is gonna keep the air clean. So a cigar lounge is where you're gonna put these and it will work.
I have 2 more comments, one for you and then one for planning, if you could answer as well. But one, I do want to thank you for the things that you do in our community. You are in my district, and so I've had great interactions with you and your family as well. So I guess depending on where it goes, I do want to help you though, even if we do vote this down, I do want to help you turn this into something great for our community and our districts. I definitely identify with the things that you guys are saying regarding like people from our group homes just kind of walking like and meandering, and they need that like safe place to go. So yeah, just me to you. I would love to work with you as well, and you and your husband, to help make this a safe space for our community. We need that. And then as far as planning, is a cigar lounge exempt from the special land use review, like item 5? So like the smoke, fume, glare, noise, vibration, odor.
No, so all of the special land use requirements for it to be reviewed against are consistent across all special land uses. And you'll see in our review that number 5 was included. We did note some of the concerns the fire department had noted with the proposed building next door, as well as smoke exiting the building, but believed that sufficient mechanical ventilation could ensure that that was not an issue to the community at large. There are other smoking lounges in plazas next to grocery stores. You can go into that grocery store and you don't smell anything as long as the correct mechanical ventilation is installed. So that was one of the requirements that we were listing in our review. That was how we were addressing that issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. Just real quick, I know Councilwoman Richardson asked about the master plan, and we talked about that. I think we're gonna be updating it, is it this year or next year?
This year.
This year, okay, because it was 2017 when that was last worked on. And I think per McKenna's recommendations, should be every 5 years now and no longer every 10 years. State law.
State law, yep.
Okay. Secondly, as far as like going with state law, and then Councilwoman Scott led into this regarding exemptions. Is there any type of exemption that falls in with the state of Michigan that talks about cigar bars being located in, or I'm sorry, it's not a cigar bar, cigar lounge or smoking lounge regarding being in a small municipality?
I'm not sure I follow the question. I'm sorry.
Was it just any exemption that applicant would have to file with the state of Michigan in order to operate? I'm sorry.
So the applicant will have to be licensed through the state licensing department. So Laura, similar to other childcare facilities, any, other types of facilities that are licensed through the state, the applicant will be required to achieve that license before they can operate in the city, and that's something that's naturally accounted for. So before we give our final business license, we require proof of that state license.
And my final thing, Mr. Mayor, I'm glad that you did say, Ms. Hardy, Mrs. Hardy, that you have an alternative should this not go through. Just because sometimes we're put in a predicament of, we know the patrons and members from the community are coming before you guys and saying, hey, this is something we want. And then, of course, the populace in the community comes to us too, and they hold us accountable with saying, hey, why do you have a public hearing, or why do you have a special land use, and why do we elect you in if you can't be our voice? And like Councilwoman Scott said, with it being in her district, different people calling directly, and others who are watching on Zoom and stuff call us all individually and whatnot. So I just wanted to, again, thank you all for saying you do have an alternative, because as you may or may not have saw at one of our planning commission meetings, we have people come in, go through the process, and then they get upset when it's not something that the city actually wanted, or it's something that violates our ordinances, or doesn't fit our special land use requirements or the master plan, so on and so forth. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield the floor.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. You ready to take the vote? All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
It fails. All right, last week, oh no, it's not last. Item I.
Consider planning commission's recommendation to deny the application for zoning amendment to allow auto dealers in the town center district.
Second.
Properly moved and second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. It passes. Denial. Item J.
To vote in accordance with the vote that was taken in closed session, Robinson.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved and second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. Item K.
To vote in accordance with the vote that was taken in closed session, Shabazz.
Move for approval.
Second. Properly moved and second, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes. Okay, public participation.
Rebecca Daniels has her hand raised, I don't know if that means like.
I'm sorry.
Mayor, the applicant is here for Spruce and Hickory. You didn't give her the opportunity to speak, and I was the realtor who wrote that up. So when you approach to.
Which one?
Which item is that? Because we have our orientation.
Oh, we already took a vote on it, huh? It was Spruce and Hickory.
There's a reason why we offered that.
No, I think that's something different.
Oh, that's for the 25.
Yeah, it was the one that we counter off.
Counter offer. Item D.
So you guys asked the applicant, or
Item E.
she was here, and she's right there.
She was here when we called it?
Yeah, you didn't call. You never called, you guys just voted.
Their orientation.
Oh, typically we discuss that during orientation. So we ask the applicants to be here at orientation in case anybody has questions. And when we don't have to call the applicant up. I mean, it's only if we have questions from the applicant. We were basically, what we've been doing, I don't know if you've been I think you've been in some of the council meetings. We've basically been selling the lots for the same price. We don't want to vary from it because we want to be consistent and sell the vacant lots for the same price to every resident. So that's all we did. Since there was two lots, instead of 2,500, we counted at 3,000. So, because there's somebody else who tried to give us a compelling reason that they had to remove a tree, and we still, and you know that's expensive, we still sold the lot for $1,500.
So I guess I'm trying to understand, as one of the realtors who write up the offers, in the past, anything that when the residents call me to write an offer, anything under 40 feet, we do, under 35 feet.
Can you come to the podium so we make sure we can get you on the recording?
And the applicant can fit into as well. In the past, and it's always been this way across the board, anything under 35 feet is $1,000. Anything over 35, $1,500, which is exactly why she offered the exact amount of $2,500. One of the parcels is 25 feet.
So that's way less than 35. That's why she offered a full price offer of $1,000. And then the second one was 40, I think it's 42. And she offered a full price offer of 1,500. And by the way, we did submit, we did, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We,
You can open it back up. That's not the way it was explained.
Reconsider.
Okay, we're gonna open it up, we're gonna reopen the motion.
Thank you.
So we can at least discuss it and get some clarity from the planning department.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to reopen, what is that, item? Oh, I wanna rescind my motion?
He don't have to reconsider. You could open it.
Yeah, just open it back
You could open it back up.
All right, I'll make a motion to reopen, item E on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's properly moved and second. All right, discussion? Derek, is that accurate? The price of the lots and the size of the lots?
I have it right here.
In the past, that's how they've done it.
Absolutely. I've sold them,
No,
many of them.
the size, she's saying, the size is correct. That's what we're asking.
Yes.
I have it right here as well. 25 by 120 for spruce, 52 by 121 for hickory. She offered full price offer of 1,500, full price offer for 1,000. And by the way, this offer was submitted several months ago, I think before you all took office. For some reason, it never got before council. So she's been waiting patiently, not just to get this offer before the council, but to now have it denied and not even give her the opportunity to speak. I think it's, we're in our rights to to approve this offer for her.
Okay.
And she is a resident of the city of Inkster as well.
I mean, the policy shouldn't change for the people. I mean, council at some point set a price on the lots, so therefore, if anything smaller than 35 is 1,000, then that's what we sell it
That's
for.
exactly what it's been all the time.
So, as long as that's what it is, as long as we all agree that's what it is, Derek, okay,
It's been, and it runs very smoothly.
okay. So you said.
It's non-buildable.
Were you to
Another
approve?
motion to approve.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve, item E.
Or just amend your motion to
Amended to
approve.
approve it.
Amend your because we got a motion on the floor right now.
So I'd like to amend my motion to approve item E on the agenda.
Second.
And properly second, moved, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Opposed,
Mayor and
say nay.
Council.
No problem. Thank you. Where we at? Public participation, I'm sorry. Sandra Wiley? Don't forget, we all have 3 minutes for public participation. I'm just anticipating comments.
No, good evening, Mayor and Council, citizens of Inkster. I want to bring your attention to one thing, and that's a planning commission meeting that is occurring on the 29th of January at 6:30, where they're attempting to do a special land use for another marijuana facility. Okay? And this is one that is already established, so apparently something went wrong. So the same number of people I see out here today, I'd like to see you at that council, at that planning commission meeting to voice your objection to another one of these coming to our city. Now, as Councilwoman Coleman Richardson has said, I have been fighting the air quality issue for the past several months now. And I've notified all of our representatives, Rashid Tlaib, Regalia, and Palanque. I've also contacted the Clean Air Act and EPA because something has to be done about this. So let's come out and tell our people who are running the planning commission that you don't want this anymore. Enough is enough. Trust me, we have enough. There's 8 of them online with a couple others still trying to get open, and you only have 6 square miles. So you have more marijuana facilities than you have miles. And if you don't tell your representatives what you want, then how will they know? So nothing should happen at any of these meetings up there that is not the will of the people out here. So you have to come and show them the will. So that's 6:30 on the 29th of January here in the council chambers. The second thing is, am I on track for time? Okay, the second thing is that I would like to see council pass some sort of policy or something where you do require, if a person is on the agenda, that they do come to the council meetings. Because that's happened a lot, and there are questions that necessarily the person that wrote up the situation may not be able to answer. So some of those people that come of their own volition because they have something to discuss is fine. But I think it ought to be a requirement. If you're on the agenda, you should be at the council meeting. That's it.
Thank you. I'm sorry, so. All right. They hit that. The next, it says Christ Temple Church. Oh, they gone. So, okay. And number 3, same thing.
Oh, I know what that was.
Right. Number 4 is Hassan. Can you read that?
Ayun.
Ayun? Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Just to tell you that I did a FOIA request and I never received it. Now, I know you're new and you just came on board. I don't want to file a lawsuit. I'm going to give the city a chance at this time to answer me by tomorrow, 24 hours. No, actually, I'll give you until Friday. And if you guys don't answer, I'm going to have to file a lawsuit. And when I send a FOIA, it's just if I ask for something, I expect to get it. Everything is supposed to be FOIable under Michigan MCL, 15.231 as amended. The city has to come forward, and if anybody from the city that wants something on email or text message or anything, it's FOIable. I go everywhere. I FOIA everybody. If I feel that I want something, they're supposed to respond to me within a certain period of time. And the city's failed to respond, but I'm not blaming you, and I'm not blaming the administration. The clerk is not here. I don't know if you have a clerk or not.
I have a clerk. Mm-hmm.
See, that's the problem, see? So I have to give you time. So you know what? Until you get a clerk, how's that? I'm gonna wait until.
Send it tomorrow, just make sure we have it.
I already sent it. It's with the clerk.
Okay.
I asked for emails, certain emails. I resend it to you if you want.
Yeah,
an
please
email.
send it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll send you the email. I'm not here trying to fight anybody, man. I just want to be transparent.
Okay.
And that's all we should do. As anywhere, I go to every city and I tell them transparent. They said, okay, we'll be transparent.
Okay.
That's all I ask, Mr. Mayor. Thank
No
you.
problem. Now, city clerk doesn't have any comments.
I do.
You're not city clerk?
I just have some comments.
What's going on?
Right. I got some comments on behalf of the clerk's office. So as you all know, we don't have a city clerk. I'm helping out in the clerk's office. And I want the residents to know that we do have an upcoming primary election that will be held on February 27th, the primary for the presidential. I also want you to know that we no longer have what they call an absentee voter list. We now have what they call a ballot list. So if you would like to be put on the ballot list, you need to contact the clerk's office to let them know. And the ballot list basically means that you will get mailed out a ballot. In this instance, for the primary presidential, you will get mailed a card asking what ballot that you want, a Republican or Democrat. You have to pick. So you let us know that, get that back to us, and you will get that mailed out. I am also putting out the call for election inspectors. We need election inspectors for the city of Inkster to come back, help us out for the city elections. We will have the election inspector application available at the clerk's office and also available online. Thank you. You don't have to be a resident of the city of Inkster anymore. Okay, great. Be glad to have you.
Okay, now, Councilwoman Scott, you say you think there was an error, one of the votes?
I do. There was an error for item D, I think, for $7,000 for the parcel that we talked about. And they're asking for it for 7,000, and the property is valued at 75. And it may not have been an error, but the vote was to accept it, and I believe that we were supposed to deny it.
Well, Councilwoman Richardson, did you make that motion?
Yes,
What was your intent, to accept the 7,000?
yes.
Okay. And when you voted, you did not, so someone who voted in favor of it can bring it back up to, open it back up. So I think it was unanimous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So anybody who voted for it can make a motion to, make another motion to revisit it.
So can I make, thank you. So can I make a motion to rescind my vote, or no, to rescind the approval?
Yeah.
Vote, thank you.
Vote.
The vote, y'all gotta help me out. The vote
You
yeah,
want to rescind the vote and then deny it for sale?
Yes.
At that price.
thank you, yes, looking for proper wording.
That's your motion?
Yes, that's my motion.
Do you have a second? Second. Okay, it's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? I think there was some confusion originally. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, it passes. So the sale is not approved. Okay. All right. City treasurer, we have no comments from the city treasurer. Mayor and council communication. Councilwoman Richardson?
None.
Councilwoman Scott? Councilman Bishop? Councilwoman Rutledge?
None.
Wow, what's going on here? Mayor Pro Tem?
I'll break the ice. First and foremost, excuse me. So my colleagues on my left and my right have given me water tonight. I'd like to thank my colleagues and all of those in the community who were able to come out in support of my family for my father's funeral this past Saturday. Really meant a lot to see you all there. And those who sent their condolences, just everything. Of course, losing a parent, losing anybody, it's a loss, and it's a tough one. You go through a lot of mixed emotions, and you say different things, you respond different ways, and so I just want to say thank you. I also would like to thank the Inkster Police Department for the pristine escort that they provided in the with the real bad elements that we had. As you all know, Friday night it snowed and iced up. By the time I got home, my whole porch, driveway, everything was the Civic Arena as it used to be. And then we had to commune at the very next morning. Of course, I had to change a flat tire that morning before the funeral. And so I was really proud of our men and women in blue who bared through the elements and did what they did to show that Inkster is on top of it. So I just thank you all and commend you for that. And then lastly, I have been getting contacted by residents along Avondale, which borders my district and Councilman Bishop's district, about a multi-dwelling unit that I guess someone is potentially proposing. We received a letter in our mailboxes. Haven't really gotten to the details because I haven't had an ability to meet with the residents who are expressing their concerns to talk about it in full. But I just wanted my colleagues to make sure that you grab that letter out of your mailbox if you haven't had a chance already.
I saw it.
You saw it, okay. And other than that, that's all that I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, real quick, I want to remind everybody, Denise Champagne's memorial service or celebration of life will be tomorrow at the Rec Center. It's a meet and greet from 11 to 12 p.m. The program starts. It should be over by 1, and from 1 to 3, food will be served. So everybody's welcome to come celebrate Denise Champagne. Also, we've got some changes going on in the city. I want to announce some new employees. We hired as the deputy city clerk, Malika Self. She's not here tonight, but stop by and see her. She's a former employee of the city, so she'll look familiar to you. Make sure you say hi to her when you come to City Hall. We also have hired a new Parks and Rec director. His name is Clinton McDaniel. Please stand up. Lifelong resident of the city of Inkster, educator, coach, And of course, you went to U of M, so, you know. So that's happy to have Clinton on board. So you have any suggestions, anything you want to see in Parks and Rec, just please approach him, talk to him, and he's open to discussing anything you'd like to talk about. And also, we have named Tamika Jenkins, interim police chief for the city of Inkster. Please stand up. And so I'll make this announcement. Chat with the chief. Now, this is your opportunity to chat with the chief. It's going to be on Thursday, February 1st at 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Rec Center, Booker T. Dozier. So you can take a look at this flyer, take a picture of it. So make sure you do that. Then Coffee with a Cop. Coffee will make your day better. Okay? That's every second Thursday of the month, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this is at Oak Street Healthcare Clinic. Everybody knows where that's at? On Cherry Hill and Inkster Roads in the strip mall. It's all the way at the end, close to where the old McDonald's used to be. It's now a laundromat, I believe. So that's at Oak Street Health. Let's see, we got Inkster Police Department Prince Chief's Big Chili Cook-Off. Saturday, February 17th, 2024, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the complex. It's free. Calling all cooks, experienced and non-experienced. There's a $25 registration fee. So if you think you make the best chili, you know who you need to call. I'll be happy to taste some of that. All right, Inkster Police Department presents Pursuit of Happiness Mental Health Summit. Your mental health matters. That's February 24th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, that's at Booker T. Dozier Recreation Center. Dr. Portia Lockett is the keynote speaker. So we'll put these all up on the website also and on social media. And lastly, the administration has, I'm gonna say Derek has created this flyer. Derek, did you create this flyer? No, I did not. You did not. You can't take credit for that? It's a nice flyer, by the way. It says, share your thoughts. Improvements are coming to our local parks. So we want to know what you would like to see done and which parks you would like to see improved. So on January 8th from 5 to 7, we're asking you to come out to the Booker T. Dozier Recreation Complex. Oh, that's no good.
Survey is what you was.
All right, so you can't go out because that's passed. But there's a survey you can complete. It's on the bottom of the flyer. And you can also
Do it online.
scan the QR code. So before you leave today, please come scan the code so you can participate in the survey and say what you would like to see done at our parks. We have a lot of parks that need to be renovated. So we have to take a one at a time approach, of course. So we have 9 city parks. So please come scan the code. Matter of fact, Derek, take this. You all can rush Derek at the end of the meeting and get that code. I don't think I have anything else. Everybody be careful out there. Oh, I received a lot of calls this weekend because of the weather. People were asking about the warming center. In the city of Inkster, the Inkster complex is the warming center. We did not declare a snow emergency because we typically do that when we get 6 inches or more, although the temperatures were dangerously cold. So anytime the temperatures drop and you need a warm center, it's the rec center. We have to coordinate that with auxiliary to make sure it's manned 24 hours a day when the temperatures get as dangerous as they were. The person who's running our parks and recs was out of town on vacation, so there was a little disconnect. But the warming center is the Inkster complex whenever we have severe weather. So just keep that in mind. We had a lot of folks call because they want the streets, everybody wants the streets plowed at the same time. And that's as soon as the snow hits the ground, they want the streets plowed. We have 7 plows. It takes us a while to get around the city, but we're gonna do better to communicate. Latoya doesn't know yet, but we're meeting tomorrow. We're gonna communicate on social media. We're gonna let people know what areas of the city we're working on, when we expect to be in their areas, so they all don't have to call the mayor on the weekend to find out when the street is getting plowed. And I'm pretty sure just about everybody called. And then they want to talk about the salt. And then I'm like, well, it's kind of cold, salt doesn't work. Somebody told me that, I don't know none of this science stuff. The salt doesn't work when it gets so cold, but I repeated that and I hope that's true. So we're gonna start communicating better straight from DPS. We'll do it from the website, we'll do it from Code Red, which we gotta get everybody signed up. Matter of fact, the next water bill, we're gonna send out instructions to sign up for Code Red to get everybody on the system so you can communicate that way. And we'll also post on social media what areas of the city we're in when we're plowing and we're salting. Okay. And remember, if it doesn't work, it's always Jerome Bivens' fault. So don't worry. That's all I have. We have a motion to adjourn? Second.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Been properly moved to second. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. That's a lot of announcements. Now what's going on?